Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Surefire Social webinar. My name is Phil Rappaport, and in just a minute or so, we'll be joined by Chris Morentis, founder and CEO of Surefire Social. And we're just waiting for a few more people. Okay, it looks like we got a lot of people coming in now, so we are about to start. Again, thanks for joining us this morning. Welcome to the Surefire Social webinar. Chris Morentis is the founder and CEO of Surefire Social, and I've known Chris for about 16 years personally, and we've worked together many times. Surefire Social is a company, if you're new to Surefire Social, the company has helped hundreds of businesses across North America for over 3 years. Now, Chris is a recognized expert bridging technology with solutions for small and medium sized businesses, delivering proven results. Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is going to be a really good presentation for those of you who really want to get to the next level in your lead generation on the internet. We're going to share with you a lot of the secrets that we employ for our clients, and they get really great success, obviously. But we're at a very critical juncture right now where the internet is going to be making very big change. We're at a big pivot point, and I'm going to reveal to you some concepts that you probably have never heard before. That's going to really open your eyes about how where it's going in the future and how you could get ahead of your competition. So I'm really excited to share these things with you. And if you don't already have anything handy, make sure you open up a Word document on your computer or have a pad of paper and pencil or pen handy so you can take notes, because you're going to want to do that, because again, there's going to be some stuff, really specific stuff discussed in here that's going to be really important for the future of your business. So we hope you get a lot out of it and enjoy what we're about to talk about.
So, Chris, before you dive in, let's just to get a sense of who's joining us in this webinar this morning. Let's put up a poll question. We want to get a feel for the answers and insights that you in the audience are looking for. If you've never done this before, it's fun. It's simple. This is a good time to tell us what you'd like to get out of this presentation. So take a moment, check one of those questions. The major question is, what is your biggest question you want answered in this webinar? And I see people are already starting to click. We can see the results coming in on the poll. Select just one of the following and then just click submit.
Looks like we're getting some good participation. We'll give you like another 10 seconds or so, and then we'll close down the poll and show you guys the results. All right.
Okay.
Alexa, why don't you close down the poll? So it looks like what most people are interested, Phil, social media is a big one here. Over 50% of the people want to learn a little bit more about social media. You are definitely in the right place, because the some of the new stuff I was just talking about is going to give you not only what to do with social media, but the why and how to actually get real results. Um, Pay-per-click we'll talk about as well. Not as much, not as many people are interested in that. We'll talk a little bit about website development as well, because website's your home base. It's something you gotta really think about in the context of a marketing platform. And we'll talk a lot about search engine optimization. So I think we've got a good presentation that addresses what all you folks are looking for. So that's awesome. So let's go through the agenda here real quick. So the first thing I want to talk about is who is searching for your services and how they find you. So you understand that, because that part about how they find you has changed a lot over the last few years. And that's why some of you might be feeling a little bit frustrated and overwhelmed. And we're going to explain to you why you're feeling that way and kind of how do you react to that. We're going to talk about what SEO really means, because SEO has changed because of that first bullet point, how people find you and such. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the social graph is. We're going to really get at this social media question you guys have and talk about it in the context of some education and then some actionable steps that you'll be able to get out of this, of what you could do. And then we're going to really kind of bring it all together by saying, how do you put it all together as a marketing platform, your website, social media, and search engine optimization, to have it all pulling together to have the big visibility that you're looking for to generate leads. Okay, hopefully that sounds fair to everybody. By the way, we're going to answer most of the questions at the end, but if anybody has questions, put them in along the way. And what Phil's going to do, and Alexa, is if there's something that seems to be a burning question that people want to get answered, kind of where we're at, we'll stop and do that. But otherwise, we'll try to look at all the questions and answer them in the back. But please put your questions in the question box by all means, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. So let's talk about questions that we hear, because we've got clients and we talk to businesses like yours all across North America every day. So one of the questions is, what can I do to drive more traffic to my website and convert prospects into appointments? We're very lead focused as a company. We work with categories that are around generating leads. So we don't really work with restaurants or retail stores. We're about kind of generating leads and making appointments for people. And that's a really big question that we get around the country. The other one is what are the necessary steps to be able to get to page one of Google and search results? Now, what we're going to talk about is how search is broadened beyond just Google, and even Google indexing things like reviews and directories and social media, and why that's important for you to kind of understand and how to participate in those things. And, kind of getting at what a lot of you guys are trying to, kind of get at today is social media really important to my business? So these are the common questions we get, and we are going to answer these questions, we hope, for you guys through this presentation. And the good news is it looks pretty consistent with what you guys have asked for in the poll we just did. So we know that 80% of prospects go online to do search for products and services today. We also know that probably about 30% of searches that are done are for local intent searches. So, if you're not in the search game, if you're not visible in your market, then you're giving up potential customers for your business. So that's why everyone, has those questions of how do I become more visible? Well, the other thing that we get is a lot of business owners that come to us feel frustrated and overwhelmed and sometimes confused. And in a lot of cases, they're pissed off because they bought things that they thought were going to be solutions, and they ended up not being solutions. And let me kind of explain to you what's happened with the internet. In about 2007, there's a lot of things that you probably haven't heard about or heard a little bit about, like, RSS feeds and web services and cloud computing and, and Ajax and Ruby on Rails, and combined with broadband, that created what I call the atomized web. It went from, people looking in Google, Bing, Yahoo, a few other places, AOL, to now literally thousands of places. It was the atomized web, I call it. And that atomized web made it a lot more difficult to think about, how do you in a systematic way become visible in all the right places? And by the way, what are the right places? But the kind of net of this is that, search and discovery for your business now includes things like social media and mapping and directories and article directories and social bookmarking. There's a lot of different places. It's broadened out what search and discovery is, and that's why it's a little bit more confusing than it ever was. Now, to give you an idea of sort of what this looks like from a framework standpoint, right? There's a concept of signals. And what you do is you use this atomized web and all these different Web 2.0 sites and blogs and social media sites and directories and review sites in order to create signals that are around your proximity with, what they call geotagging, and with recency of content, with content that has keywords in it that you're focused on. So between the proximity signals and the keyword signals in your content and copy and what you create, then the search engines better understand what your business is about, But what you want to do then is you want to drive those people to your website, but you want to drive them not just to your home page, but you want to drive them to landing pages that are appropriate for those keywords. So, for example, if you're a home contractor and you do uh, kitchen remodeling and bathroom remodeling and sunrooms, you want to have landing pages for each of those three services. You do want to have a home page that outlines that you do those three things. But if you have something that you're talking about sunrooms out there on the web, you want to drive that sunroom traffic and links to your sunroom landing page. Okay. So that's the concept of how you operate in this atomized web, if you will. But here's the deal. We are at a major turning point right now on the web. Now, this is kind of an interesting fact. Everyone's familiar with the purchase funnel. If you've gone to any marketing seminars or, marketing courses, or even back in college doing marketing courses, the purchase funnel. Here's a stat that I just found out. That purchase funnel has been around since 1898. A guy by the name of Elias St. Elmo Lewis created this purchase funnel. It's around awareness and then interest and desire and action. And it was his way of describing the emotional process someone has to go through in order to purchase your product. Okay? Here's the deal. That traditional funnel is about to change in a big way. Why? It's what you guys are all interested in learning about: social media. Um, because what social media allows you to do, and we'll talk about what social media is, because it's probably broader than what a lot of you folks are thinking. But social media provides an opportunity at that point of transaction to actually open up that pyramid again in a big way. Okay. And what you do by opening up that pyramid in a big way is be able to to activate those customers to create more leads for your business, generate more leads for your business if you play it right. So what you're able to do is take that lifetime value of that customer and explode it and open up that funnel with engagement, with communication, with interaction, all these different things that social media allow you to do, and let them tell their friends, sharing of those things. And we're going to show you what that looks like. But companies that understand this and understand to harness it, and companies like ours, marketing services providers that get this, are going to put their clients way ahead of the game. So if there's one thing I want you to understand from this, is the opportunity in social media. People think, well, what do I do with it? How does it benefit my business? This is what it's about. So let me kind of talk a little bit more specifically and kind of wrap your head around this and unpeel this a little bit more for you. So the past 10 years in internet marketing has been about getting content links. And search engines get more and more sophisticated at determining good content links versus bad content links. And those are all the algorithm changes that have happened over the last bunch of years. Okay. Well, what the social web means, this idea of that point of interaction and people interacting with your company, is that people now are becoming links. Why is that important? Because what the algorithms and what Google thinks, and if you look at all the patents that Google has filed in the last 3 years, you'll see that what they really believe is people and people's connections and what people are interested in are more valuable way of understanding a relationship to a company and a link than content is, because content could be gamed, but people can't be gamed. I'll give you an example. Remember 3 years ago, it was so easy in Yelp and in Google to put a directory. Someone could just put in their first name, put in a directory, and everybody was gaming reviews and directories. But what you might have noticed now is increasingly directories are putting in place filters. In fact, I heard a stat that on Yelp, something like 40% of the reviews aren't ever published because people have to actually register, create a profile. And when they do a review, they have to put their full name and their email address, things like that, because what that does now is that gives the search engines confidence that that review is legit. Okay, so that's a good example of how why search engines are moving to this idea of people are more trustworthy because what they want, it's all about trust. So Google Plus is a glimpse of the future, and it's happening now, where Google Plus and Google Plus Local for local businesses um, provides a way for Google to be able to get, for example, reviews and know that those reviews are legitimate. And what they do is they surface those reviews ahead of other reviews, but they also do it for Yelp and a few other directories that they know are also legit as well. Okay. So Google Plus in one word is trust. Now, same thing with Facebook, same thing with Twitter, same thing with LinkedIn and other sites out there. But those are the four horsemen, if you will. So it changes the game of what you want to do and why you want to do it. Okay. So search engines are focused on one thing. They're in a competitive market battle just like you are, just like any business is, and they want more and more people to use their search engine. Google happens to have about 66% of the search engine volume in terms of searches, but there are other search engines out there, but they're all interested in one thing, providing the best answer. So that's why they constantly change these algorithms, and they've been doing it a lot lately. Um, we've fared really, really well over the last Panda and Penguin releases and the recent updates. But let me tell you, it's harder and harder. So you want to diversify your traffic and you want to diversify your linking strategy. And social media is a really great way to do that by creating more people connections and people links. And we'll show you later how you do that. So what does that mean to small businesses, though? The world's changed. The game is no longer just about getting that lead, but once you have that lead and you paid for that lead and it becomes a customer, you could actually begin to monetize that opportunity much more broadly by thinking about that inverted funnel at that point of transaction. And you have to rely on, in this new world, the actions of your clients to drive that visibility. So you need to engage them at that point of transaction in really smart, clever ways to get them to leave the review, not on your website or not on your manufacturer's website, but on Google Plus or Yelp or Angie's List or some of the other top, directories, or provide before and after pictures and things like that. So the opportunities to further advance the value of that lead post-transaction. And you need to facilitate that engagement, sharing, connectivity, endorsements. Um, and every person interaction is a way to create a signal. This sounds really, really hard. And it does require a little bit more engagement on your part. But the reality is you don't need, you know, tens of people. In fact, it looks fake to the search engines because they know most small businesses only probably have 2 to 5 reviews total on their Google Plus page. But if you could just get 1, 2, 3 a month, that has a huge impact on your visibility and your company's trustworthiness for those search engines, and it will put you up higher than other people in the local search results. Okay, so that's a big concept.
Chris, just to interject here, this is probably we're already getting some questions that are in our funnel. This is another good time for, and there's a lot of information here on this slide.
Yep.
But it's a great time if you're in our audience and you have some kind of like a nagging question that you always wanted to know the answer. It's a good time. Just go to your control panel on the GoToMeeting webinar control panel. Go to the question box, type in your question, and hit send. And we're going to get to as many questions as we can once this presentation is over.
Right. Okay, so let's kind of quickly go through. Okay, so what's the key to success? Okay, let's start sort of macro and then work our way, into specifics. So, in order to be successful, here's one of the biggest problems a lot of small business owners have is they get kind of the cool web designer who's a local web designer design a web page and they're great creatively, but they really don't understand marketing principles, right? You need a properly structured website that's tied to the structure of your keyword strategy and what you want to be visible for across the web, across everything that you participate in. Then you need an SEO strategy that is not only on your website, but off your website. And you need to use a lot of the new Web 2.0 tools available to you, like social bookmarking and article marketing and publishing and commenting and forums and blogs that are do follow, things like that. And then you need a social media strategy that's all tied to your keyword strategy. And remember that slide, that graphic I showed you with all the arrows pointing? So they all drive link juice and they drive traffic into your home base of your website where you convert them to more leads. So they get to know you in the distributed web, become familiar with you, and they kind of start to say, like, I see this person everywhere. That's a lot of our clients uh, talk about the fact, 6 months after they're in the program and they're really happy and they're getting a lot of leads. And they say, our clients call and they say, I see you everywhere. What's going on? I see pictures. I see, a handbook that you've got. I see a video that you did. I see you guys everywhere. And I had to call you. That's the idea, is layering different things. Okay. Now, the problem with this obviously is there's a lot of tasks involved in doing all these things. It's tough to scale unless you got the right internal people with the right knowledge and the time to do it. Um, and you have to kind of think about whether you want to do it internally or hire a company like ours. But hopefully this presentation is going to give you enough information where you can make the right hiring decision, whether it be with us or hopefully you'll be able to ask the right questions to hire the right company for you. So let's talk about researching. Let's start by researching your market, right? So this is an example of one of our clients in Vancouver. It's a big um, food franchise company, and what we want to do is take a look at some of the big words that they're going to want to go after, and then take a look at their competition. Find out where their competition is strong. Find out where search volume is. There's a lot of other criteria we look at as well, like exact match versus broad match and exact search versus broad search, and um, the value of search terms from a PPC standpoint. There's a lot of other variables to look at, but you want to look at keywords relative to your competition and also relative to your strength. What's the page rank of your site now versus the page rank of your top 2, 3, 4 competitors? Because if you have really strong competitors that are really kicking butt in certain keywords and you're just getting started, you're going to want to find less competitive keywords, not take them head on, build a beachhead and expand from there. So researching keywords and figuring out your keyword strategy is the foundation of your search and discovery plan, and doing that right is critical to the success and to make sure that you get an ROI on your program that you do.
And just to interject something here, Chris, this slide was taken from the report about a year and a half ago before Surefire Social did any search engine optimization. And the results today are pretty dramatic in
Yeah,
terms of
they're on the first page of Google
pretty
for
much
all these.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
Well, we're gonna go into some results too. Um, so just to kind of set the table on natural SEO and sponsored SEO, um, and search engine marketing, to kind of look at the both of these things. So you can see sponsored links arrows show what is search engine marketing, buying Google AdWords, and where you show up there. And then the organic results here show organic pages and results here. And we're going to show you more examples of organic and how multiple tiers, like being in a directory plus regular organic, can help you have multiple listings on a single search engine results page. And this is an example. So there's a notion of layering content, right? So you want to do directory listings, you want to do optimized pages with lots of links and social media pointing to those pages. This is a great example of one of our clients who's in the office space market, where they've got first position um, in natural search here, but they also have the first position in Google Maps for the directory listing in Google. So this is a great example of how they dominate this page, and this is the way you get more than your fair share of leads from a keyword. So get your right keyword strategy, make sure you're aimed at the wrong place, and then do the layering of content as we describe here. And this is how you get more than your fair share of leads and dominate the page visually. Okay. So let's talk about the specifics, okay? On page optimization. What is on page optimization? Well, what you want to do, and when someone pitches you search engine optimization programs, you want to look at not all programs are created equal. So there's basically a couple of variables you want to make sure that you're to do apples and apples comparisons. One is what's the number of keywords they're optimizing for? And the other is what are the number of target URLs that they're optimizing for? Okay. And then there's a whole series of things that you want to make sure that they're doing, like, you know, you've got to do a general assessment and analysis of kind of where you're at. Are there broken links? Are there things that need to be fixed if, they're taking over an existing site? Or if you're building a new site and launch a new site, if there's any links out there from the old site that need to be redirected to the new site because those pages don't exist in the new site, but they existed in the old site. So there's a whole bunch of things about web assessment and analysis. And then you got to go into the domain and URL rewriting and redirecting based on that. And then website content optimization. And ideally, you're doing this all the time. Our clients always, we come back to them, we say, okay, we need to create another 150 words with this keyword density for these pages because we look at how the machines read the website and the different pages, and we're always optimizing with keywords and adding pages and things like that. So there should be a certain amount of work that's done within the context of your program. And then meta tag optimization. Okay. Now, off page SEO is completely different. That's doing all the stuff that you want to do off page in order to drive links back to the right landing pages on your site. And every page on your site, or the pages that are targeted for optimization, should have a particular keyword that it's associated with, and you should have a keyword tied to a landing page. So in this case, what you're doing is you're creating that linking strategy using blogs and forum comment posting, press release submissions, directory submissions, social bookmarking, Web 2.0 site profile submissions, forum profile submissions, and RSS feed creations and submissions. And part of that is also writing. So they're going to be writing a lot of this material for you so they can distribute it, but you should have the approval in that. But this is a really, really important part in this new world. There's a concept in here called content siloing that you need to make sure that your SEO company is doing, because with the new Google updates, particularly if you're getting links from content areas that have nothing to do with your keyword or your content on your own website, they'll discount them at best, and they'll penalize you at worst. So you have to make sure that your SEO company is doing content siloing for off-page linking and optimization. Social media. Okay, this is just an example of one of the programs that we do, and we do lots of different programs based on the type of company, what their needs are. But there's 4 important places that you're going to want to have your profile created and optimized. Optimized meaning complete creation of it, having descriptions with your keywords, your addresses, phone numbers, pictures, videos, everything that you could do to make sure that those profiles are optimized and correct. And then you want to go in and tweak them because it pings the search engines maybe once a month. Do a little tweak to them, add a picture, change something so that it pings the search engines, let them know they're still out there and active, and things like that. And then what you want to do is keep the content fresh. So you want to regularly post minimally 2 to 3 times a week. You want to post on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. If you're a B2C company, if you're marketing to consumers and you want to just get started in one place, I would say Facebook. And then after that, it would be Google Plus, and then after that, it would be LinkedIn, and then Twitter. But if you can't do it all at once and you have to do it within your own company, then at least do Facebook. But the key is join groups, add friends, do a deliberate attempt to friend acquisition every month. Because remember, in this new world, people equal links. So the more people from these places that that uh, that are related to your customers and to your target audience, the better you're going to be. One of the other things I recommend to everybody. So if you're a home contractor and you have a lot of home contractor buddies, make sure you're all linking together because they have profiles that have your keywords in it. So it sends signals that you're in that business too, and that helps kind of create authenticity and an authority in your social media profile. Okay.
Chris, this is a good spot to ask another poll. Let's do another poll here. We can ask the audience. It's about social media optimization, and it's a very quick poll. And there's just a yes or a no. We just want to know how many of you have experience doing social media for your company, not for yourself. So you might have a personal Facebook page, but do you have a company Facebook page or LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Plus, etc.? So we'll give about 10 more seconds. We see a lot more yeses than we have no's, although it looks
That's
like no's
awesome.
are closing the gap. So this is better than a presidential election. We're just finding out
It's
right
more
now.
pain. It's more painless than the
Exactly.
presidential
It's a
election.
very, very easy way, and you can do it anonymously,
All right,
just
let's
like.
close the poll. We got a good participation rate. So it looks like most of you have done some experimenting with it. So I'd love to talk to you guys more about what you're doing and the results you're getting. So if anybody wants to follow up afterward, that would be awesome to hear.
So 63% said yes, 37% said no. So there is a sizable number of attendees here
You
who have
haven't.
not done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if any of you have any specific questions, you've been doing something but have questions about it, put it in the question in the chat box, and we'll try to get to it later. Local directory listings. This is absolutely critical in this new world. I put this under the bucket of social media. People don't really realize that, but especially Google Plus Local, that's their name today, Google Plus Local, is critical. But things like Yahoo Local, Bing Local, Yelp, for contractors, having at least a basic listing in Angie's List, but you should have complete profiles in those places. And even more important, you need to be able to keep those updated. We'll talk about those in a little bit. We'll talk about that more specifically in a little bit. Okay, what is the social graph? I always ask this when I speak somewhere, and not many hands go up. That's obviously changing over time, but let me explain to you quickly because it's really important in this idea of people equals links and people equals more trust by search engines. Because what happens is when you have people who are associated, you're following you, and they're sharing, reading, and engaging with content that you have, and other people of their friends do the same thing, it starts to add authority to your business. So the social graph simply is that expression of communicating, sharing, reading, and engaging with your content across all these different types of places that are socially driven, like Facebook and Google Plus and YouTube and LinkedIn and Yelp and Panoramio and all these other types of places. So the idea with Facebook is you want to magnify your content. In fact, there's a strategy around Facebook to get leads that is really super cool and very, very effective. Where what you could do is you could take your blog post that you do And especially if you format it in the open graph, what's called the open graph format, it could go into what's called a sponsored story ad program automatically. And when it's in a sponsored story ad program, it'll actually go into the news feed um, of of the people who like your business and other people who and if you do a sponsored story like ad, it'll go into the people who like your business and the people who they're friends with. Now, a big stat that's really important for everyone to understand is 98% of the reach within Facebook is within news feeds. So if you're not doing Facebook advertising with your posts, only a very small percentage of the people who actually like you even see your posts. The estimate that Google or Facebook says it's somewhere around 16%, but there's a lot of us experts who think it's more like 3 to 5%. And the reason why Facebook's doing that is obvious. They want to make money. So what they're doing is they're driving people to actually buy posts that become viral. 98% of people will not go to your timeline page. They're going to see your posts in the news feeds. And you could expand that and actually target it really, really specifically um, by doing it. There's great ways of what they call stack targeting, where you could actually really target by geography, by people type, by psychographic. You could target people by where they work, by what they do, all kinds of things. It's really, really cool. So we've been doing social media for clients now for well over a year and a half in a serious way, where we're doing updates and things like that. Not advertising. We're starting a special advertising program, doing what we just described now, and we've been experimenting with it. But just doing posts regularly, keeping an active Facebook page, what we do know is Facebook could drive traffic to your website. And by the way, it's really good quality traffic because we look at things like the time they spend on the website of the traffic that's driven there, the number of page views they have, the bounce rate. And you want to know something? It is actually comparable with natural search results. So, and about uh, typically 70% or more of the people driven from Facebook are completely new visits to the website. So it's a lot of new visitors as well. So Facebook could be a great traffic driver to your website. And what's interesting when you look at this graphic is for this happens to be a contractor, it drove more people to the website in this particular time period, I think it was a month, than in this case, GF, the manufacturer's uh, directory, Better Business Bureau, Yellow Pages, and I don't even see Angie's list on this list. Going back to directories real briefly, there's hundreds and thousands, if not thousands, of directories. What you want to do is put update your directory listings across all the different directories because the consistency of that data across all these directories is really, really important. There's about 350 key directories that then will be crawled and then proliferate to all the other hundreds. And I'm talking about like car navigation systems and things like from Google plus local to car navigation systems and local.com and places like that. There's a place you could go called universalbusinesslistings.org that by putting your listing there could go across all those places. We can help you do that if you want as well. The key thing is though is for at least a subset of these, meaning Google Plus, Yahoo, Bing, Yelp, Angie's List if you're a contractor. There's others for other specific types of businesses. You want to make sure that you're doing monthly review building and pictures and special updates. And you want to make sure that you're using categories that represent your keywords and your key service categories. You want to use in the description keywords, both geography keywords and service or product keywords. So you want to make sure these directories are really, really important for social signals, and you want to make sure you fill them out completely.
Chris, here's a good time to take our last poll. It's about this topic, directory optimization and reputation management. So we just want to get a quick read from the audience here. How many of you today have a systematic way of getting reviews? And just click yes or no, and give it about 5 to 10 seconds. We see the tallying coming up. Again, it's about, are you getting reviews, and do you have a way of getting reviews? So looks like 2/3 of you do and a third of you do not.
That's awesome. The 2/3 of you do. The key, guys, on this, we close down this poll, is what you want to do is you want to make sure that the reviews are being done on one of these trusted directories. They are really great for search engines. And the mistake I see being made right now is people trying to get reviews on their website, or there's other companies out there that help you get reviews and put them on their site, or you can then take them and put them on your website. And while that's great for what we call social proof on your website, so people can see that you've got other people who've done reviews for you, and you want to keep doing that, um, the fact of the matter is, for search and to make your business more authoritative to search engines, you want to make sure you're driving people to reviews in these different directories. So here's the other thing too. When we talked about at that point of transaction, but also the point of intersection could also be at a home show or whatever. But you're gathering this database. You've got a list of people who you've talked to as customers. You want to make sure that you're nurturing that list, because sometimes people aren't ready to make a decision on the spot, but you want to keep them involved with your brand as they go through that purchase funnel. Okay. So newsletters are a great way to do that, to increase your lead flow, increase your revenue. It's really low cost communication because you've already paid for that name, address, email address. So now you could communicate with them free by just using a really inexpensive autoresponder that you might have. And most of them cost, 25 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month, and you could have a great way to just email people. We happen to have a newsletter program that we write it, we design it, and put it out there for people, and the ROI on that is fantastic. So I'm not going to go through this. Spend an awful lot of time going through this kind of graphic here. But the point I want to make to you is internet marketing today. We track and measure everything. One of the reasons why we have one of the lowest churn rates in the industry is because we do track and measure everything, and we have a meeting once a month with our clients just to walk them through all the analytics to the point of how many leads they're getting a month and from what sources they're getting their leads from. And it's really, really important for you as business owners to understand, because online marketing today is kind of easy to some degree, because you could kind of track and measure stuff, and you do more of what works and you do less of what doesn't work. But it should be set up as a math equation where you kind of look at the keywords you're going for, what the monthly searches are. Can you get 8% of those people who do those searches somehow engage with your brand, either on your website or on one of your social media properties or whatever? Then can you get 5% of those to convert to a lead or an inquiry of some kind? And then figuring you're going to get a certain percentage of those that will be a set appointment. Again, we're lead gen, whether you're a mortgage broker, a home contractor, or a physician practice, you want to ultimately end up in an appointment. And then what percentage of those turn into sales? And then you can start to figure out the lifetime value of a customer, the dollars per month you could generate, and the dollars per lead it costs you to generate. So you can start to figure out your marketing budget. This is something we can help clients do as well. So, how to get to your targeted revenue? Well, number one, you want to properly budget for internet marketing. One of the biggest mistakes we find that people come to us with is they really don't have any idea, or don't have a budget. So they kind of, I think one of the mistakes people make is they go for the low cost option, or they go for sort of what I call the next shiny object, versus really getting a little bit educated, asking the right questions. Because what's more expensive, spending $300 a month on a program that gets no leads, or spending $1,500 a month on a program that gets you leads at $50 per lead, where you're converting 30% of them into a sale, right? So, it's not just about number of leads, but it's conversion of the leads. And it's not just about how much money you're spending, but what's it translating to in terms of opportunities for your business. The other thing too is that you need to have this integrated implementation, website, SEO, social media, and search engine marketing. If you want to, add search engine marketing to this, and you need to have a process and workflow. And that's something our coaches work with clients on, our account executives, where we actually do that process and workflow for companies who don't have the people internally to be able to do that. And then create content. You know, creating content's easier than you think. I mean, you folks are out there where you're meeting with clients every day. We could do a quick testimonial video on a smartphone. You could get them to do a review and ask them for a review. You could get pictures, before and after pictures. But if you really think about the points that you're intersecting with your clients, content's a lot easier if you just had the right process and workflow around it. And we help our folks do that.
Chris, just want to mention here we're assembling all the questions. So if anyone has any questions, if you haven't asked a question yet, fill in your question in the question box. Click submit, because we're gonna get to that in just about within about 5 minutes or so.
Great, 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 great. Well, actually, close to that. Action steps. Okay, we've been doing this for 45 minutes. We're right on time. So here are the things that I would suggest that you do. If this is you've got 2013 coming up, it's a new year, and you're probably all in the mindset of what's my online marketing program going to be next year. What you ought to do is a level set. What is my visibility vis-a-vis my competitors in the big search engines, in social media, in directories? How does my number of links and the quality of my links stack up with those guys? Get a visibility analysis done so that you have a baseline of where your strengths and where your weaknesses are, and that'll help you formulate what you want to focus on for next year. And then based on that, you could also reevaluate your keyword strategies and do that research as part of that process. Then I would optimize your website structure to capture leads by making sure that you've got landing pages tied to that keyword strategy, and then ways to capture those leads. Obvious phone number, and make sure you track that phone number and record it so you know that they're turning into leads. Forms that are easy for people to fill out, that are easy for them to engage with your company. Get listed in the right directories and claim your business. Many of these businesses like Google plus local give you the opportunity to claim your listing. Claiming that listing tells Google that you're paying attention and that you're a diligent business owner, and that increases your authority. Make sure you claim your listing in Google plus local and others that allow you to claim your listing. And use social media to engage your customers. Post regularly. You can publish reviews there, just scrape them and publish them there to provide social proof. Add photos, videos. Photos are great. Before and after photos, congratulating a company that you just, or a consumer that you just did a new kitchen for, a new roof for, and then let them know, hey, by the way, I want you to comment on that. People will love that and engage in it, and it adds authority. And those people links that we were talking about, get better at that. And it doesn't, again, the quantity doesn't have to be a lot. Don't be focused on quantity, be focused on quality. And leverage your database, both for leads and existing clients. Make sure you're taking advantage of your database with ongoing nurturing campaigns and newsletters and things like that. So here's the deal. If you're interested in getting a visibility report done, we actually can do that for you. We can have one of our pro consultants do a complete visibility report, and we'll do it at no charge. It's a value of around $300. Other people charge to do the completeness of the work that we do on it, but it'll give you a baseline, and there's no obligation for it. But if you really want to find out, and this is an unbiased opinion, we use third-party data to show you what you'll look like. Trust me, this will be very, very helpful for you in planning for 2013. So if you want that, just click yes, and we'll have one of our pro consultants give you a call and set up a time to go through that. And we'll give you a couple more minutes if you need that to be able to answer. Otherwise, we'll give you a web address and stuff like that you go to and look further. Okay, great. We've got a high percentage of you wanting to do that. That's awesome. Let's close the poll and um, just going to give you some ideas of what we're going to be going through with the folks. So you'll be able to know kind of strengths and weaknesses and on-site SEO report, your site authority, excuse me, how many pages are indexed within your site to make sure that your whole site's being indexed, the number of links that you're getting, the average number of links your competitors are getting, how you stack up for different keywords in Google and local, Google Local Plus and Yahoo and Bing and Yahoo Local and Bing Local. Um, Directory listings. Do you have them? Do you not have them? It's a really, really complete report. So Surefire Social, what do? We deliver personal, comprehensive strategies for effective local digital marketing for companies across North America. Our website's www.surefiresocial.com. You can go there for a lot more information about us. I'm Chris Morentis. I'm the founder, and I'm glad you joined us. And again, if you want that free visibility report, didn't pull the trigger with the yes before, you could just go to surefiresocial.com, sign up there, just give us a call at that number below. So, Phil, we are ready for questions.
We've got a number of questions here, Chris,
Okay.
and so I'm just going to try to. Some of them came in the same vein, so I'm
Right.
going to try to group them together, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can in the time remaining. Chris, first of all, how much time? This question came in a little bit earlier. How much time should a small business dedicate to social media? Because, you know, there can only do so much.
Yep.
Typically, it's an owner operator, might be a family that owns the business. One person may have that responsibility. How much time is really required to keep it going?
Yeah. Well, as we talked about here, social media is broader than most people think it is because I would put directory listings, for example, in social media. There's part of the SEO that we do, like social bookmarking and things like that. But if we want to just define it as, let's say, kind of Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, and LinkedIn, then what I would say is, it's really, up to the company and what time they could devote to it. But the way to think about it is, you know, do one thing well before you go on to another thing, as I was talking about earlier. So I would say that get started with, if you're a B2C company, there are a billion people on Facebook. Chances are there's a lot of people who could be customers of yours that are on Facebook. So I would say Facebook should be the number one thing that you make sure you're doing well. And you could probably do Facebook well, set up that profile and optimize it, set up a timeline page with a really nice graphic on top, get a what's called an app tab, a landing page. So if you wanted to set up an experiment with some advertising, you could drive people to the landing page. One thing we know is when you do advertising on Facebook, don't set the landing page as your website. People don't like when they're in Facebook, they don't like to go outside of it. So you want to make sure you set it up so they're going to a app tab page that has a special offer or an ebook they could download or some kind of a special thing that you have for them there that you promote around Facebook. But with Facebook, if you just do like 2 to 3 posts a week, and you could set yourself up with, like, for example, Google Alerts. Put your keywords and your location in Google Alerts and start to get you, that'll give you some good content that you could repost. But the best content to post is content that's being driven by your company. Create a process where when you deliver a job, if you're a contractor, make sure that your guys have, smartphones or little cameras on site so they can take a picture of it. Take a picture of the homeowner smiling. Get that homeowner to give you a review. There's automated ways we work with our clients, as you know, Phil, to drive them to do the automated review. But if you put this into like a system and process, it shouldn't take all that long.
And that kind of touches on another question that came through is how do you get likes? How should what is the best way to get likes for your page, so you have an audience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people that have lots of likes generally pay for them. You know, we've avoided that for ourselves and our clients because we want quality likes. But I'm starting to now, with the way Facebook works, where you've got to buy advertising to get the distribution. Here's a new thing on Facebook that we can help people do this if they want. You could take your database and you could upload it in a CSV file to Facebook in the ad panel, and then you could actually target to like people who already know your brand. So the cost per like goes from like, $1 to $2 to, if you do it right and have the right kind of messaging on it, you could get it down into like the tens of cents per like. And what the reason why that's important now to get more likes is that what you're able to do is by doing a program of sponsored stories and then sponsored like stories. When you do sponsored like stories, all the people who like your business page, their friends will also that sponsored story will show up in their news feed as well, and it gives you tremendous reach. So that's why um, getting likes is becoming more important, especially in this people links world. So to me, a great strategy if you're just getting started at this is to, if you have a database, upload that database and do a like campaign to get a reasonable number of likes, and then it'll start to compound itself.
So that kind of relates to another question that one of our attendees had. That they said, "Am I understanding you correctly that unless we are paying for advertisements on Facebook, people are not seeing our posts?"
Only about, I would say, somewhere between at most 5% and 15% of the people who
Because it's
like your
buried
page
because
are
it's buried
seeing it.
by because it's buried by another post coming in from another
No,
friend,
no,
or
it's because it doesn't even get they've put filters on who gets these posts based on what's called an edge rank, right?
okay.
Edge rank is number of engagements and things like that. And most businesses, don't have the high edge rank where they get really big distribution.
Another question we didn't touch on PPC. We want to. So we have a question here. How do you determine the proper budget for a pay per click for Google AdWords? If you have great organic ranking, is it possible you are stealing traffic from your organic traffic?
No, no, that's a really good question. But here's the way we do it, and we look at it, and we have great results with it. Is, remember I showed you that one slide where there was multiple posts in organic because of the directory listing, the maps listing, and then the regular organic listing of the page. Well, a way that you could really dominate search, when we do pay-per-click on top of search engine optimization programs, we go after those same keywords, because what we want to do is we want to dominate that page with lots of people. People look at that and they say, I've got to call this company. So that's the way to get more than your fair share of leads. And just so people understand this, there are about 30% of the clicks that happen in the sponsored links and 70% in the organic links. And there are people who have a higher propensity to click in sponsored, and people have a higher propensity to click in organic. So there are different types of people and different types of usage occasions looking for different things. So what the kind of the wisdom would be to go after the same keywords, and you're going to get a higher ROI by having a sponsored link and organic link, because you're going to get more than your fair share of leads for the search engine results page. Now, that's assuming it's the right keyword that you're targeting,
Right.
and it's got good volume and all that other stuff.
We just have time for a couple more questions. Our hour is almost up. Chris, here's a question: what percentage of your budget should be allocated to all these programs that you're talking about today? SEO, social media, pay per click, essentially internet marketing,
Right.
digital marketing. So, what percentage of an overall marketing budget should be allocated to internet?
Really great question. Great question. Um, so if you think about it, let's say you're a business doing $1 million a year. Let's just take to make math simple. An average business, a small business, and any consultant will tell you they ought to be spending 5 to 8% of their gross revenue on marketing in general. Okay. Now, the percentage of that 5 to 8% that should be on digital marketing is going to depend on the size of the business. If you're a $5 million business and you could compete in traditional media on the like on a share of voice standpoint, then you might have a higher percentage of your that 5 to 7, 8% in traditional media than digital, because you could afford to compete toe to toe with guys spending the money in TV and radio and other kinds of things. If you're $1 million business, you're going to have a disproportionately higher percentage of that in digital, because digital is the most effective and efficient cost per lead. Just the way to think about it, cost per lead for natural search is somewhere around 50, $60 per lead. For pay per click, it's about 75, $80 per lead. For traditional media, I'm talking about for contractors, one of the big segments we do, it's about $240 per lead. So if you're a company competing, and you're in that $1 to $3 million stage, you're probably going to have a disproportionately higher percentage, because you want to focus your budget where you got the lower cost per lead, higher ROI. Now, you know, the way we've configured our programs is that for about anywhere from $7 to $20,000 a year, you can have a turnkey marketing program put together for your business, where we do a lot of this work for you. And if you're $1 million company, and you're spending, let's say, 20 grand a year, and you have your digital marketing done for you completely, um, you know that's less than 2%, or of your overall gross revenue, and you still have a big percentage of revenue to spend on things like flyers and direct marketing and other pay-per-click programming, other types of programming. So we've kind of put together a combination of work that we know works to get you visible across these things, with the right price point for those companies in that, let's say $10 million and under stage.
So it sounds like the kind of the next step, because some of the other questions kind of have the same thing, and we'll just kind of end on this. And the next step would be to get, if you haven't had a visibility report, get one,
Yeah.
because it's free. You'll kind of know where you stand, and the consultant
You'll
work
get educated
reviewing the
through it.
report,
Yeah,
will educate you and kind of give you some of the next steps, in what you need to do to kind of take action.
that's exactly
Right.
right.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you for your time, and thank everyone who attended our presentation.
Great.
Our time is up. I think we covered a lot of ground here. Just want to encourage everyone to go to our website, www.surefiresocial.com. And if you have checked earlier that you wanted a free visibility report, somebody from Surefire Social will be in touch with you shortly.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.